On February 14, 2018, what was supposed to be a romantic day for the students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School all went down terribly within a matter of minutes. On this day, 14 lives were cut short by one man and his machine. To respect those that passed from this incident, I will not say the name of the murderer. What I will say is this: 14 young, ambitious future geniuses were taken away from our world on this day. 14 aspiring engineers, doctors, mechanics, and overall great people were taken away from our lives with one push of a lever on a machine. Don't forget, hundreds more mourn the losses of these bright individuals, including parents, colleagues, coworkers, classmates, and the community in whole. In an interview by CNN after hearing about the shooting, Lori Alfadef, a mother who mourns the loss of her daughter Alyssa, yelled in an interview, "I just spent the last 2 hours planning my daughter's funeral, who is 14. Let that sink in for a while. A mother, one who is selfless, loving, and sacrificing their needs for the wants of their children, had to experience the unbearable and plan a funeral for her daughter. And this is why we need more gun control laws, to prevent events like these from ever happening ever again. My name is Kyle Yuen, and today I'll be persuading you on why we need to have stricter gun control laws. My main 3 points are that more gun control laws will reduce deaths and suicides, compare other countries' gun control laws and how they work, and how Second Amendment does not give unlimited rights to own guns. My first point is that more gun control laws will reduce the amount of gun deaths and suicides. According to data by the CDC, WISCARS, an online data injury dating reporting system from the Center of Disease and Control and Prevention, CDC, there were a total of 572,547 total gun deaths between 1999 and 2016. As you can see on the visual aid here, over 50% of these gun deaths involved suicide. Over 30% of these involved homicides, and the rest were unintentional deaths. In the total number of suicides, including other methods, guns were the leading cause of death. And the number is shocking for homicides too. If we have stricter gun control laws, some of these events would have never happened, and data shows that. In a study by the University of Washington and now published in the American Journal of Public Health, legal purchase of a handgun appears to be associated with long-lasting risk of violent death, meaning that if one is in a disoriented mental state, then the risk of violent death on one or themselves is increased when one buys a gun. Another recent study by Lancet has projected 56.7% decrease in death if there was more background checks on guns. In terms of suicide, there's also a 26.9% decrease in lives lost when there are a 10% gun ownership decrease. We have a chance to decrease the amount of lives lost in our world, and we need to take it. There are too many lives lost by the machines, and with more background checks, we have a chance of reducing this amount. According to an NPR study, bans for sales to minors and permit requirements were proven effective in Indiana and Connecticut, a 7.5% death decrease. While that number may be nowhere near zero, we are moving toward the right step. My next point that I'd like to discuss today is that other countries' gun control laws have worked. For example, gunpolicy.org, a global research industry from the University of Sydney, both Switzerland and Finland require gun control owners to have licenses and pass background checks that include mental and criminal records. And it works. Switzerland is ranked number 3 international gun ownership rates with around 3 million guns and a total of 24 homicides. Finland, number 4, has around 2.4 million guns and there are only 23 gun homicides. Let's compare this with America, ranked first international gun ownership with around 270 million and 12,632 homicides. That is recorded out of the whole world globally. There are around 12,632 homicides. Let's compare that number. In addition, a research paper written by the professors of Columbia and Boston University recorded that out of all people killed by guns globally, 90% of them of women, 90% of children, 90% of young adults were killed by a gun here in the United States of America. The rest, all combined from every single country in this world except USA in this planet. That is an extreme problem. Over 90% of the kids that were killed from guns are from the United States. How many more kids do we need to be murdered before something changes? How many more young faces do we need to see on our television screens with the headlines in memory of before something changes? That is something we need to change on. Gun control laws work. And even though it takes more time and money to buy a gun, we must have a strong gun control laws restrictions. Many people in Switzerland and Finland still buy guns without any problem, and they're still number 3 and 4 in the list of number of guns in their country. Finally, the last point I bring to you today is Second Amendment. Many who do not support the gun control laws claim that the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, the right to bear arms, prevents individual gun ownership and should not be taken away from us. To refute this claim, I'm going to show you a 2008 District of Columbia et al. Versus Heller U.S. Supreme Court majority. At the end of this ruling, it was stated that, like every other amendment, there are restrictions. As put in the words of Justice Anthony Scalia, a conservative, nothing in our opinion should be cast doubt that the long-lasting prohibitions on the possession of firearms by felons or the mentally ill. If a Supreme Court ruling was not enough for you, there have been court appeals that say that the right to the general public to carry a concealed firearm in public is not, and never has been, protected by the amendment. What this means is that you cannot pull out a handgun at a protest, just like you cannot scream fire at a movie theater without there actually being an actual fire. Now that I have told you why we need strict gun control laws, you may ask what you can do to help. There are many things as we citizens can do. First, to support the cause, whether it's donating to an organization or volunteering your time with them. March for Our Lives, a nonprofit started by the students of Douglas High School shooting, is actively recruiting and in need of donations and or help. If you cannot help in those ways, there are other ways too, including emailing your elected officials and addressing these issues that I have mentioned today. March for Our Lives also has a website where there are many resources where you can help other than that. We as a community can do better and bring justice to those that lost their lives because of a gun. Today, I have discussed with you all why there needs to be more gun control laws, including how they reduce deaths and suicides, how it works in other countries with stricter gun control laws, and how the Second Amendment does not really claim this. I end my speech with a quote from a protester from March of Our Lives. You can put silencer on a gun, but not on the voices of the people. I hope you can all join the cause and save the lives of others. Let us never have another mass shooting again. And to those that are struggling and having suicidal thoughts, please know that we are here for you. To my screen here is a national suicide hotline that you may use free of charge to talk with a professional. Nothing is ever worth the cost of your life. Thank you.